Welcome to Crown Brush. I'm Dawn Maloney, celebrity makeup artist and hairstylist, and today's video is all about a darker skin tone makeup look. Today we're going to be working on a dark skin tone makeup look. Makeup artists, the key to great dark skin tone makeup is to understand contrast of color. So when you're working on any skin tone, determine what the contrast is between the makeup colors that you're using and the person's skin tone. So one of the things that you'll notice on today's video is that I'm working on someone darker, therefore there is more contrast with lighter colors. So anytime I'm using a light or bright, it's really going to pop and stand out on my model today. If I want less contrast and I want the makeup to look more skin-like, I'm going to choose colors that are similar in tone to the person's face. So lighter colors will pop more, lighter and brighter colors will pop more on medium and darker skin, whereas lighter colors will melt in and be similar to someone who has light skin. I'm also going to use deep dark colors to bring depth to my model's face as well. These are the products, makeup artists, that you'll need for today's makeover. Foundation, primer, setting powder, all day setting spray, 6 color pressed powder foundation palette, 15 color cream foundation palette and spatula, Java eyeshadow collection, mascara, your crown brushes, eye primer, ultimate skinny eye marker, eyeliners, brow palette, cream blush palette, lipstick and lip gloss palette, highlight and blush palette, lip liners, eyelash curler, makeup remover wipes, lip gloss wands, mascara wands. So let's jump right in and get started with today's makeover. Today I have my beautiful model, Alyssa. She's absolutely gorgeous. I am so excited to do this beautiful makeover on her today. So let's get started. So the first step is to brush the eyebrow hair. So I'm brushing upward and over, and you can see that Alyssa has a really beautiful arch. She has well-maintained brows, and this will be really easy to fill in and give her eyebrow more definition and just a really beautiful shape. I'm going to work with the eye pencil in the color dark chocolate, and I'm just filling in the brow area just to give a little bit of a better shape and also a little more of an arch. Now, after I fill in with the pencil, then I'll also go back and fill in with the brow gel. So I'm using really short, teeny tiny strokes. And again, I'm working at an angle. Remember, makeup artists, when you're actually working on a client, you will be standing directly in front of the person, but I want you to see, and we want to get really good camera angles so you can see exactly what I'm doing. You can also go back with your spoolie and continue to brush that brow hair, and that will also soften the brow pencil as well. I'm going to work on the other side. Again, I'm using that 3-point system that you learned in the brow video, where I'm using the nose as a guide, corner of the eye, that's the beginning of the brow, nose across the pupil, there's your arch, tip of the nose across to the outer edge of the eye, and that's where the tail should end. That's where the end of the brow should end. If you want to learn more about brows, check out the brow video. Now we're going to take some of the brow gel and we're going to scrape this off using our spatula knife and our palette. I like to combine a few different brow colors because this will make the brow look a little bit more natural. So I'm just taking a couple different colors, putting that right onto my palette, and then I'm going to be working with my angle liner brush. So this is my C541. I really love gel brow products. They adhere to the skin really nicely. Remember that the gel product, the pencils, are adhering to the skin. You're actually coloring the skin. If you want to color the brow hair, you would use brow mascara. So I'm just filling in and giving Alyssa's brows a little more shape and structure. Beautiful. I just love the way that this brow product really melts well with the pencil, and everything is just really smooth and beautiful. I'm going to go back with my spoolie, my disposable mascara wand, and again, just combing the brows upward, over, and then across and down. And that gel is melding with the pencil, and it's just making such a beautiful color. Just really, really nice and very natural. Now, don't get nervous, makeup artists, if you're working on the eyebrow and you still see brow hair. You will cover that up with a little bit of your concealer and foundation, and you'll start to see that the brows will really take shape once you put that coverage on. So now we're going to work with a little bit of eye primer. I'm using my concealer brush. This is my C469, and my model's going to close her eyes. And I'm just going to put a little bit of this eye primer right on the eyelid. So this is a great product to help the makeup stick. You really want that eyeshadow to stick and have some longevity. Now, don't get nervous. Yes, this color, this product is obviously a little lighter than Alyssa's skin. That's okay. We are going to be putting the foundation right over it. Next, we're going to use a little bit of the cream foundation palette. I love this palette because it works as a concealer. Yes, you can use it all over on your client and use it as a foundation. It is quite thick, so it gives a lot of coverage. It's very pigmented, but it works great as a concealer. So we're gonna scrape a little bit of this off onto our palette, and we'll be using this as concealer. So I like to use as less brushes, as few brushes as possible. This way I don't have to really clean in between. So I'm using that same concealer brush that I use the eye primer in. And it's kind of good that there is some eye primer in the brush where I can mix that into the concealer. So the formulas are really melding together, and that will also help the makeup stick as well. So a little bit goes a long way when it comes to concealer. And I've already warmed that product up by moving it around on my palette with my brush. So I produce a little bit of friction, which adds some heat to that product and soften it. A lot of times when you're working with concealers or cream foundations, you're going to notice that they're a bit hard in consistency. So you want to warm that product up by moving it around and softening it before you apply it on your client. All right, now we're going to apply the eyeshadow. So this is a beautiful palette. I absolutely love it. Remember that you're working with someone darker, so you're picking colors that are lighter to their skin, the same as their skin, and darker than their skin. So a color that I'm choosing that will be a bit lighter on Alyssa's skin will be this color. It's like a nice light mocha. So I'm going to scrape off, and I'm putting that right onto my paper towel. Remember, makeup artists, your paper towel is a palette, and it's also a great mixing tool. This allows you to really mix and blend all of your dry products very easily right on your paper towel. So that'll be our medium color. And then I'm also going to pick, just for the fun of it, I'm going to add some of this little sparkle. It's kind of like a rosy gold. It has a little bit of a gold sparkle to it. And then why don't we work with a few different colors today? I'm going to choose this deeper brown color. So here's some really deep, almost like a burgundy brown color, really, really deep. So that's going to show up beautifully on Alyssa's skin. That's going to be really deep and show a lot of depth on her eyes. Okay, so now we are going to work on Alyssa's eyeshadow. I have my C510, and I'm going to dip into my lightest color, and I'm really pressing the brush into the paper towel. I really want to get a lot of product and pick up quite a bit, and I'll just kind of tap it off, and then I'm ready to apply. So this color I'm going to put all over the lid, and this also gives me an opportunity to really smooth out that primer and the concealer product that I used as well. So as you can see, this particular color really is very skin-like and similar tone to Alyssa's skin. Next, I'm going to use my A115, and I'm dipping into that rose gold type product. I love this brush because I'm really going to be able to blend and work in the crease area. Keeping your client's head back is really helpful because the makeup will fall backwards, not forward. So the concentrated part of this color is right in the crease area, but I'm also bringing it down into her lid as well. And this color has just a little bit of sparkle. It is so, so pretty. It's really going to add so much beauty and femininity to this makeup look. So I'm blending and I'm pressing the eyeshadow. You really don't want to fling the eyeshadow. Of course you're going to have a little bit of fallout, but that's okay because we're going to clean that up in the end. Next, I'm going to use my small round contour brush, and I'm dipping into the dark brown color. And now I'm going to work right in the crease area. So remember, where you first touch is where the most product will lay. So I want to start in the center of the eye, deposit the shadow, and then move side to side. And then I'm also doing a little bit of some angled work here where I'm giving Alyssa a nice sharp angle by bringing the shadow to the edge of the eye, downward and across the bottom lid. And you can see that this color is darker than her skin tone, so it's giving you more depth, and that's what's going to push back on her orbital cavity area. So we're going to start creating some depth of color where you really start to see the crease, and it will shape up the eye beautifully. Again, start in the center, and then I'm moving side to side. So now we're working with our deepest, darkest color. So this is really going to create some depth. I'm using that same round brush because I just want to use as less brush as possible. It also increases your speed. If you're constantly changing out your tools, that will take a bit longer. And if you're in a crunch, if time is a concern, the less tools, the better. So same pattern, I'm working on the edge this time though. I really want the concentrate of color to be on the outer edge. So where you first touch is where the most product is deposited. So I just want to really focus that dark on the outer edge. And then of course I will lightly blend and kind of smoke this out. Now, don't get nervous. You're going to see fallout, especially when you work with darker colors. Those are the colors you will see. That will be cleaned up with some makeup wipes. So don't worry about it now. Get that eyeshadow on first, lay down that color, and then we'll clean this all up later. This looks really beautiful. I'm really happy with the way it's coming out. So again, I go back, I tap into my dark. I want to pick up more product. Where I first touch is where the most is deposited. And I really want to accentuate that end area of the eye. So that's where I'm focused, and that's where I'm putting all that dark color. So the edge, and then I'm lifting up and over. Now once I deposit the color, and a lot of it has come out of the brush in that area, and you're going to watch the makeup, you're actually seeing this happen. So the deposit is happening. Now I'm able to go in and blend with the rest of the eye. If your brush already has too much color on it and you start blending, it's just going to turn into a bit of a muddy mess. So make sure that that product comes out of the brush, is deposited where you want it to go, and then start the blend. Now that our eyeshadow is on, we get to clean this all up. And this is really when the magic happens. So you take that makeup wipe, clean it up, and really sharpen those edges, and you start to see your end result. So I take my makeup wipe and I clean this all up. Oh, I just love this. It just, oh, I could see the results. It makes me so happy. Once I clean up all that fallout, I start to see everything come to life. So when I clean up, not only do I clean up underneath, but I also clean up the bridge of the nose area, because again, we're working with loose eyeshadow. When we scrape off, the product is very dusty. So keep that in mind, makeup artists. And then I also clean up around the brow area. So this is your chance to sharpen up that brow. If you made a little mistake with the brow pencil or the gel, or you see something you don't like, you want to reshape that up, this is your chance to really get in there and shape the brow and the shadow. I'll also ask my client to open her eyes, and she'll look up at the ceiling all the way up. And you can see that even though I cleaned up underneath, there still is quite a bit, especially right on the lash line. Now, sometimes what's really cool is the lighter color, like you can see here, is right in the corner of her eye. And I kind of like that. It adds a little sparkle. It works for this look. So it's okay if we leave that. But the dark stuff that fell, I really want to sharpen that up. It just looks so unprofessional. This is why, guys, you need to do the eyes first and then clean up second, because if this was all over her foundation and concealer, wow, what a mess. And what a time killer. It is a time vampire. You really want to clean up that mess before you do the foundation. So now we're going to move on to some eyeliner. I have the black eyeliner and we're going to line Alyssa's bottom line first, and then we'll do the top line. We'll work with that ultra skinny eye marker. So you want to always have a tissue or paper towel in your hand. You ask your client to look up at the ceiling, and very carefully, I'm using a sanitized, sharpened eyeliner. So I've sharpened it, I've wiped it with alcohol, I've let it air dry, and it's ready to go. I've also checked that eyeliner for any type of wood splintering or super sharp edges before I work on my client. Checking your eyeliner, makeup artist, is a habit that you want to use every time you do a makeover. So now we're going to work with that ultra skinny eye marker. If you feel like there's not enough color coming out of the felt tip, just shake it a little bit. Also, when you store it, when it's capped, of course, you can store it upside down. This way the makeup, the pigment, falls down into the felt tip. So I asked my client to close her eyes, and we're going to do a little bit of some eyeliner right on the top. So where you first touch is where the most is deposited. So I'm doing a nice, beautiful black skinny line right on her lash line. This will just add so much more depth, especially when we add the mascara. It's just going to give her eye a beautiful shape. And then the other side. So makeup artists, remember, whatever side you're working on, that's the side you want to stand. Because I'm doing this video, I typically stand on one side so you can see all of the work that I'm doing. Also, you would stand in front of your client as well so you can look at the person side to side. Remember, the goal is balance and symmetry. You really want one side to match the other. All right, so once the eyes are done and you clean that up, now we're ready to move on to the skin. The first thing that we're going to do, makeup artists, is use our HD Effect Primer. So I'm putting that right onto my palette, and I'm going to use the foundation brush to apply the primer. So I stipple it on and blend downward. So you want a nice even amount of this primer. Okay. Next, we're going to use some of our concealer that we used earlier, and we have enough on the palette already, so I'm going to use my concealer brush and just go right in to her under eye area. So Alyssa, if you could look up at the ceiling, and I'm just applying a little bit right under her eyes. Now I will blend this together with her foundation. So I'm just layering a really nice amount, just covering up any darkness that I see, and it's looking really beautiful. Other side, other eye. And again, you want to use that right from the palette, warm it up a little bit with your brush, move it around. That creates friction, and it really softens up the foundation or concealer, whatever product you're using. If it's hard in consistency, you really want to soften that up. Beautiful. And now we're going to use some of our Crown foundation, and we're pumping this out right onto our palette. Using the same foundation brush, I start at the top and I'm just stippling on the product. Then with speed, I'm going to go back and blend this foundation. You really want to move the foundation as quick as possible, because if it starts drying, you will start to see some spottiness and inconsistency in the makeup color. Beautiful. This color is so nice and smooth and creamy, and it's just giving a really beautiful, beautiful coverage to Alyssa's already gorgeous skin. And I'm really blending that, almost massaging that into the concealer and moving downward. And now we're going to apply the blush and the highlighter. Okay, so we're working with our Crown Blush palette. I love this palette because there are so many colors and variations to work with. You can mix and match and make your own color. You know what, today, why don't we mix a little bit? I'm gonna take some of this peach, and then I'm gonna take some of this brighter peach, deeper peach, and just put it together. And with my spatula, kind of mix it, and I've made a new color. So that's one thing, makeup artists, during your practice time, is you can mix color, you know, scrape a little of this, a little of that. Don't forget to write down your formulas, especially if you need to repeat the look, but have fun making your own colors. And then let's use a little bit of highlight. I'm gonna go with this beautiful gold. A little bit goes a long way, and we'll put that right onto Alyssa's Zygomatic. And all of this will be applied with a blush brush. We're going to be using the Angle Blush Brush, which is so perfect for the hollow of the cheek and the zygomatic area. Okay, so I'm dipping right into the blush. Again, use that paper towel to really mix the color, to really press that into the brush, and also to release the color. You don't want too much blush onto your brush, because when you deposit, it just will land there and perhaps be way too much color. Okay, so the blush is going in between the zygomatic and the hollow of the cheek. So the hollow of the cheek is where the maxillae and the mandible meet. So it's where the teeth basically connect, right? When you close your mouth, that's where you're going to connect. So the blush is going to go right above that. So starting at the hairline, because I want more of a natural look, and I'm going to bring it forward. You can also go back and blend with your foundation brush. Now, of course, I took off most of the foundation that's in the brush, so there's really nothing there, but it's just a fun technique to lightly soften blush and give the skin more of that natural blush look, more of a glow, opposed to a stripey blush look. I really believe, makeup artists, that blending is a technique that you want to use constantly and strive to master. Okay, now we're going to put a little highlighter on the Zygomatic. I love that look. It's so fun. It's really beautiful. Using that same angle brush, why not? You really don't have to grab for too many brushes with this look. So I tap in, I use that paper towel to swirl and release the product before I put it directly on the skin. So the highlight goes on the Zygomatic, which is your cheekbone. So right in this area, I don't want it to go too close to the eye, nor do I want it to drop too low on the cheek as well. So just a little sparkle goes a long way. Now let's set this look using our setting powder. Now, when you look at your setting powder, you may say to yourself, there's no way that this product could work on someone who has darker skin. But it is a colorless product, makeup artist, so don't get nervous. This sets any skin color. It is not to add color, it's just to set the makeup. So a little bit goes a long way. You really don't have to dispense a lot of powder. So we're gonna work with a fluff brush, and I dip right into that product, and you can see right on the brush how light the setting powder truly is. And we're gonna just tap off right onto the paper towel to release the excess. And you can see, guys, not a trace of this white powder is seen on Alyssa's skin. Again, the goal is to just set the makeup and make sure that it stays on all day long. Also, a pressing technique or a stippling where you're pressing and rolling with the brush will also help the makeup stay as well. Stippling is also a technique that we use with sponges in makeup artistry. Again, where you press and roll the makeup so it sets into the skin. Now I'm going to also set it with the all day setting spray. Now, whenever you work with any type of spray or aerosol, you want to check it first before you actually spray it onto the person's face, because sometimes the nozzle gets clogged or it just doesn't squirt out right. You could actually squirt a large amount of product on the person's face, and you don't want to do that. So I use a tissue or a paper towel, and basically what I do is I just kind of like spray into the air, hit it onto the paper towel so I can see the type of spray that this particular container is giving me. So now I ask my client to close her eyes. Alyssa's going to close her eyes, and from a distance about a foot away, I hold the paper towel again just to make sure that the spray is correct, and then I'm lightly spraying. I ask my client to keep her eyes closed for a few minutes. I also let her know that the spraying is done. This way she isn't shocked if I continue spraying. So you want to let the person know, say, okay, we're done with that, and then we let the makeup set. Now, when you're looking at the face, makeup artist, you're going to see that your client appears to be wet. Yes, of course, because you sprayed setting spray. So don't get nervous. Just allow it to dry. Don't touch it. Just let it set and give it some time. You can also use a little fan if you have a little electrical fan like this, little battery pack fan, and that also helps with setting spray as well. So you can either fan it with a tissue, paper towels, with your hands, or invest in some type of little battery packed fan. Okay, last but not least, let's get started with Alyssa's gorgeous lips. I'm going to use the lip liner in the color Cappuccino. This is a really beautiful universal taupey nude lip liner. Love it for all skin colors. So now I'll ask Alyssa to tighten or stretch her lips across her teeth. This allows me to really press into her jawline, and I can use this as a really good guide to make sure that I'm getting a tight, precise lip line. So if they tighten across their teeth, it's just really a nice space to draw on. So I'm coloring her whole lip as well. Not only did I line her lip, but I'm also coloring to ensure a better lip stain. And this will help the lipstick and the lip gloss stay as well. So the lip liner is kind of like a primer, helps everything stick and stay. And then when the lipstick and lip gloss do come off, at least she has a little bit of liner color. Let's scrape some lipstick and lip gloss off. I love this Crown palette, so many colors to choose from. I'm gonna use some of this rosy color, and then we'll use some of this really pretty nude warm lip gloss, and that'll go right over that. We always use disposables when applying our lip products, so make sure that whatever you need from your lip palette goes onto your metal palette. I love the Crown lip gloss wands because of the angle that they're cut, and the little tip on there can be used to really draw a very precise line on the lips as well. And Alyssa will tighten her lip across her teeth again. Perfect. And I start in the center and I move side to side. So remember, where you first touch is where the most is deposited. So when you start in the center, you move side to side and you could really blend that lip color. Same on the top, I start in the center and I move side to side. And again, because of this angle tool, I can really draw a very precise line and get a beautiful shape with this lipstick. Now we're going to apply the lip gloss, same wand, directly from the palette, and same technique, starting at the center, moving side to side. And this is just a very sheer, warm, kind of goldish lip gloss, and it's just adding just enough pigment over that beautiful pink color that we used. I think this is a really pretty natural lip on Alyssa, and it just works really well with the deeper eye. And you can massage that again. Beautiful. Okay, we're going to wrap up this gorgeous makeover with the lash application. So we're going to use our lash curler and some beautiful black mascara. So I asked my client to look straight ahead. Alyssa's looking straight ahead. And then I'm using my lash curler by placing the metal part on the top lid and then gently pressing the lashes. I open and release, and that's the proper technique for curling your lashes. So again, I place the metal part on top of the lid, gently press down, hold for about 10 seconds, open and release, and the lashes are curled. Now we're going to work with some beautiful black mascara, and of course I'm using disposable mascara wands. So I take my mascara, I have my disposable wand, I put that right in, I twist. Remember, makeup artists, do not pump your mascara. You will be pushing air into that tube. Therefore, you'll be drying that mascara out a lot faster. And then remove the wand, close that container up. Get in the habit of always closing your products up. And then a little technique that I love, and this is also on the mascara lash video, I like to press that wand and bend it a little bit right onto the paper towel. By bending the mascara wand, you're giving yourself a better angle for application. So Alyssa will look up at the ceiling, and we always start with the bottom lashes first. And the reason why we do that is because if we start with the top, when she looks up to do the bottom, all that wet mascara on the top will get all over the beautiful eyeshadow. So to avoid getting mascara all over the eyeshadow, apply the mascara on the bottom lashes first. Now Alyssa will look straight ahead, and I can work on the top. And I love that zigzagging technique. I'm pressing the wand into the lash and really applying quite a bit of product on there, giving her eye much more definition. I flip my wrist. Notice that I'm not going over like this. I flip, I work on the other side. You don't want to go over the nasal bone because sometimes the wand has mascara on it, and you'll end up getting mascara all over your client's nose. All right, guys, we got through this beautiful makeover step by step. Remember to practice. Alyssa, you look so gorgeous. Yes, when you first looked at it, I know you were so excited.
I am very excited.
It looks amazing. I love all the colors, and I just feel like the colors that we chose today is so perfect for her skin tone. She just really lights up. Not only does she light up the room with her makeup, but also her beautiful personality. Beautiful on the inside and out, and Thank you so much for being a model today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. This concludes today's video on a darker skin tone makeup look. I hope all the tips, tricks, and advice help your makeup career soar. See you on the next video.